let's go quarterbacks right out the gate. Maybe the most important position in all of sports, only behind offensive linemen, King Kent. So there are a few that are under the microscope this upcoming season. So let me first start with you right off the bat here. Which QB is under the most pressure this year?
For me, honestly, I would say Dak. It's time for him to actually compete for a Super Bowl. It's been long enough. It's been plenty of years, enough contract extensions. But they're starting to put pressure on him right now. Of course, they signed Trey Lance. They didn't sign him to be Dak's backup. They signed him to groom him into that position. I believe they lit that fire underneath the stove and said, all right, it's time to start cooking, big boy.
All right. Ken coming out firing real quick, even in his current home, even in his current state of Texas. So, all right, I like that. I like that. Go big or go home. JT, who do you got?
Ken, I don't know why you acting like this. We just talked about this before the show, man. Why you throwing Dak out there like he's trash, man? Y'all acting like he's Ryan Leaf or somebody, like he's just not going to be good. He ain't Jamarcus Russell, man. Come on. No, I mean, Dak's always under pressure because he plays for the Cowboys, so you can't go wrong with that. But I'm going to go with an unpopular opinion. Easily the quarterback that has the most pressure is Brock Purdy. Like, his situation that he is in right now, I wouldn't want to be in that if you pay me his salary. Like, you just mentioned Trey Lance. Like, you forget, the 49ers probably traded the most first-round picks ever to move up and get a quarterback in Trey Lance. That didn't work out. They traded him to the Cowboys. This roster is Super Bowl ready. And I feel like the past year and a half, the teammates on the 49ers have been saying, like, hey, yeah, Brock Purdy's the guy. Like, he's the guy that can take us to a Super Bowl. We prefer him as a starter over Trey Lance. And then Brock Purdy's success is really going to determine Shanahan and John Lynch's futures at their jobs with the 49ers. And he's coming off a torn UCL. I'm sorry. Josh Allen doesn't even have this type of pressure. Like, I wouldn't want to be Brock Purdy because everybody is relying on him to get the job done. And we forget, like, Mr. Irrelevant.
Yeah, 7th round draft pick, yeah.
Forget, like, it's not like this guy was supposed to set the league on fire and all of a sudden now they're expecting him to be a top 10 quarterback in the league. So it's got to be him with the most pressure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think those are good answers, but I'm going to go Russell Wilson and look at it a different way. I think it's about legacy, and that's why the pressure is there. You look at the last 2 years, if he comes with another bad year, this time under Sean Payton, like Payton could bench him. Like Payton's not going to have the patience that, hey, you're just turning it over, not playing well. Like that's not really his QB. He inherited him, but it's not his QB. Russell Wilson's already 34. He's got 3 years left on his deal, $100 million. So when you think about it, if he gets benched by Sean Payton, there's no other team that's going to want him at 34 with that sort of contract. And it's basically over $100 million in guaranteed money left on it. And this is how we're going to remember him. Like the younger generation doesn't remember how good he was in Seattle because the last 2 years, and if he's bad again this year, that's how they'll remember him. And think about us, even our generation. Not that I say it, but I do think some other people say it is the Legion of Boom won him that Super Bowl. And then he followed that up with throwing interception at the goal line. I mean, if you're talking about instant pressure, yes, I think you guys are both correct with who you pick. But if we're talking about pressure overall and like legacy on the line, it's easily Russell Wilson at this point.
Now I gotta disagree with you only because I don't see Russell Wilson having more pressure than Dak Prescott. Like I feel like Dak is in that Lamar stratosphere of just yearly pressure no matter what he does. Like Dak could win an MVP this year, and like if they don't win a Super Bowl, he's still gonna be under pressure.
They're trying to get him out.
But guys, like this is the thing. He's not going anywhere. His job is like you really think he's going to lose his job to Trey Lance if he has an MVP type season?
Look,
I don't know.
Hey, look, you forget what happened to Dak last year. He got hurt. Cooper Rush comes in, gets carried by the Legion of Boom.
But who?
And everybody's like, oh, Cooper Rush can play better than Dak. Like it happens, and they didn't even want to pay Dak in the first place.
But who came back regardless of Cooper Rush's record? Who ended up starting as soon as he was healthy?
The guy who got paid more money, I get it.
Of course. They paid him. They had to play him.
Yeah.
All right. So where's their
man?
pressure?
Russ just chilling, man.
Tell me how that is more pressure than legacy on the line for Russell Wilson being one of the greats.
You know what? I'll tell you what. Legacy for Russ, I feel like it's already written because people are never going to put him in the top 10. It's already written. Like he's a Super Bowl winning quarterback, and we've already seen the bottom fall out. So
he already won.
Yeah, he already won.
Yeah, he already has a Super Bowl.
No, I'm saying he's never going to be in that conversation.
Okay, but there's a difference between being Joe Flacco and Brad Johnson compared to a guy who's won two Super Bowls like Ben Roethlisberger. That's what Russell's in
Russ's legacy is already set. Like he is what he is. Like that can still build on his. That's why there's more pressure.
I disagree. All right. So Kendall, let me start with you. Which rookie QB will perform the best?
Okay, this is an interesting answer, but I have CJ Stroud because I think he was the best overall quarterback in the class as far as decision-making, athleticism, accuracy.
Preach, King Ken, preach.
But the Texans doesn't have that many athletes around him, so he's going to be doing a lot of that on his own. I hope he doesn't go down the path that Justin Field kind of went into his first year because he didn't have that many athletes around him and he kind of suffered. But I'm pretty optimistic about the Texans. They're starting to build a team around him, so hopefully he'll get that done.
I like it. Listen, I'm going to piggyback off of that, and then I'll let JT go. I agree 100%. There's a couple reasons. I think, again, he's the most ready for the NFL. But then you look, he's got Dameon Pierce, so he has a run game. He's got an all-pro left tackle in Laramie Tunsil. Ken, you're a lineman. You know what is a quarterback's two favorite things, a run game and a guy that can protect his blind side. He's got both of those there. Safety blanket with Schultz. And listen, he's got young, speedy receivers. I mean, what else could a young quarterback want? I think it's set up perfect for him. So, JT, do you agree with us or no?
Yeah, I mean, I agree with Stroud. The only thing I'm gonna push back on is I don't think he's in the same situation as Justin Fields because one, Justin Fields had maybe the worst coach ever, and I don't think DeMeco Ryans is that bad. Like, that's all time bad.
Help. I'm just saying he just had the same amount of help. I would say,
and honestly, I'm picking Stroud because of what you said before we started this show. You was like, hey, look. If the talent around him's not good enough at first, he could just do it himself. He could throw it to himself and catch it. So y'all believe CJ Stroud is superhuman and can do it all, and I'm going to buy into that. But I do think he's in the best situation, oddly enough, because Bryce Young, I haven't seen any highlight where he's not getting knocked to the ground in the preseason. Yeah. Anthony Richardson can't pass, at least not yet. So CJ Stroud at least can play quarterback, and he's going to be in the best situation to be protected by his offensive line. So I do think he'll be the best rookie quarterback, even though I don't think the Texans will win many games, though. So I still disagree with you on that, Ken. I don't think they're going to win many games.
They can only go up from there, though.
Instead of 2, they're gonna go to 3, man.
Yeah, they can only go up. They can only improve.
Hey, that's what I like about Ken. When he like a team, where he like a player, man, like it's to the moon. He's all optimistic about him.
He's ride or die.
But okay, like there's no way we can't talk about running backs, NFL. Like they're the hot topic.
Favorite position.
Definitely not your favorite position because you have no respect for running backs.
Hey, so I love O-linemen, King Ken.
Hey. Look, don't fall for it, Ken, man. He don't like them either. But NFL running backs, we talk about them all off season, all the controversy. You got guys like Josh Jacobs, Tony Pollard, Saquon signing those franchise tags instead of getting signed to long-term deals. So all the drama that's going on with the running backs, you got to ask this question. Are running backs being underpaid or undervalued, and how do we fix that for them?
I guess I can go ahead and take this one. So,
my bad. You just always come to you because you're the expert.
Okay. So they are definitely undervalued now. So, and I say that because you know how they say you have to buy the insurance before you buy the house. So when they're drafting offensive linemen what do you think is more important? Is he a good pass blocker or is he a good run blocker? They're going to take the
Hold on, let
pass
me write that down.
blocker.
What you just said. I need to buy the insurance before the house. I definitely get that backwards.
Too late.
Let me
Too
write
late.
that
You
down.
already bought the mansion, JT.
I did not get the insurance first. Let me make sure I do that.
I know, that's what I'm saying. You bought the mansion already. Too late.
Bro, we're not getting into this. Let this man continue with his answer.
Yeah, so like I was saying, when you draft in the first round draft pick offensive lineman, you're looking to see if he can pass protect first. Like that's the instinct. They're looking for those long athletic guys because this is a passing league. So we're looking for running backs that can run routes, that can get out in space, get into the flats, those little curl routes, because they're really focusing on passing now. Running isn't as big as it was, say, like in the early 2000s, say like in the 90s. So the only way they can fix that really is honestly at this point, I don't know, because it's like they're paying these receivers, they're paying these quarterbacks, and it's just they're leaving out these running backs.
All right. Don, I know your answer, and I just want everyone to hear how inhumane and just heartless this is. First of all, are they underpaid and undervalued? Yes or no?
So underpaid, no, I don't believe they are, because their risk for injury, I think, is higher than almost any other position. Plus, you get a lot of running back by committees that can do the same thing. You can't do a wide receiver by committee. Like you could replace a Dalvin Cook.
The Chiefs do it.
But exactly. But they do a running back by committee. But
I mean, a wide receiver by committee.
They also have Patrick Mahomes. If they didn't have Patrick Mahomes, you need to have that number one. There's no way you're replaced by a committee, a Jamar Chase, a Justin Jefferson, all right? Kirk Cousins is better because of Justin Jefferson. Now, undervalued, yes, because I think there's become a less appreciation for the running back, and I think that is wrong, because when you have those great running backs that are three-down sort of running backs, that is – you can't measure that, right? You can't measure that in dollars. You maybe can't measure that in points. And like the great ones, we should not undervalue, like McCaffrey, Saquon Barkley, like the true game changers. But
you better throw Derrick Henry in there too, man. Don't disrespect
and Derrick Henry. But the thing is, you still can't overpay for them. Like you just can't afford to do it, because then that means you sacrifice paying the left tackle to protect your franchise quarterback. Does that mean you can't pay your franchise quarterback? Like, look what happened with Dallas with Ezekiel Elliott. So, that's the way I look at it for that. And then did you ask about fixing it?
Yeah, I did. Yeah. So how do we fix it?
Well, I've told you this before. If you got to wait for the CBA, and then if you want to do it earlier, if I'm a running back, like Jonathan Taylor 2 years ago when he had that big breakout, I go to the Colts and say, listen, I will hold out, but if you offer me more of a fully guaranteed deal now, and I'll take less money overall, like a 3-year, whatever, $34, $33 million deal, let's do it. Fully guaranteed next 3 years. Then that way, come this year, he didn't need to worry about it anymore. Neither did the Colts. So take less money. Don't be as greedy, but take less money, but for more guaranteed money. And I think both the team and the players would be willing to do it, because now I'm getting Jonathan Taylor in his prime for 3 years at $12 million against the cap. That's unbelievable if you could do that. But the question is, would the running back be able to take that less money, knowing that, maybe he passes on $50 million?
Yeah, this is my last ride.
But you're never going to see the end of that $50 million deal anyway. So
I think it depends on the running back, though. Like, if it's Jonathan Taylor, maybe you can bet on yourself to hit free agency. But if I'm like look at a guy like James Robinson, a flash in the pan. Like, he didn't get drafted. He had one good year. He could have went to the Jags and do what you're saying, which I think is a good idea. Like, hey, give me maybe like $20 million over the next 3 years, and he would have made out like a bandit. Like, right. I think it depends on the running back.
But even Jonathan Taylor, JT, we talk about all the time. The team has the power. Look what's happening now. Jonathan Taylor, we need to see him before anything else now. So even if he is free agent,
Jonathan Taylor, we do need to see you. We got fantasy teams riding on this man coming back.
They'll franchise tag him, right? So what good is that? What's it matter? Bet on yourself early. Maybe you'll get to a second contract. or you get franchise tag, and now you've got back-to-back franchise tags plus a 3-year extension. You've got 5 years of guaranteed money.
Well, let's not dwell on JT too much because we're going to talk about him in a second. So I want you to save that. But I agree with you guys. I don't think they're underpaid. And the reason I think this is because I actually went through and looked at the salaries for all the top running backs in the league. I think like the top 20. And if anything, I noticed that there's just not a lot of really elite talented guys that play running back in the NFL. And the ones that are, they're getting paid. Like if you look at all the guys that are making $10 million or above per year in the NFL that are running backs, that list of guys, you're like, hey, they're getting paid what they are worth. Like the guys below that have no business making that much money. Like I look at Naheem Hines making like $3 million this year, and he not even playing. And even if he did play, he wasn't going to be worth $3 million worth. So they do get paid. So I don't think they're underpaid. Now, undervalued, I agree, because I think the game has gone to a passing league, like you guys have said. But I feel like that's just the word that's out there that everyone's just thinking like, oh, running backs, we don't need them. Like we could do it in a group. Like they're going to get hurt. And the reality is everybody in the NFL gets hurt. Like Joe Burrow's been hurt multiple times and like nobody cares. They're going to give him $100 million. Lamar Jackson, I love the guy, but he's been hurt too. They gave him $200 million. So it's the NFL. Everyone gets hurt. Now, how do I think they should fix it?
Before you answer, can I push back a little bit? When you say underpaid, I don't think that they're arguing that the top backs are underpaid because they're not. But I think they're arguing they're underpaid with guaranteed money compared to the other positions.
That I can get with. But when you look at some of the contracts of the big guys, I mean, they're making out a lot of money on the guarantee side.
But don't they have to
what the contract is worth?
Yeah.
But they really have to fight for it. And some of it, JT, is franchise tag. So it's really only 1 year of guaranteed money.
I mean, if we want to be honest, the real reason the running backs aren't getting the money is because their teammates are greedy. Like that's really what it is.
That's why I said the quarterbacks and the receivers. That's why it ties back in together that they're
look at Minnesota.
Undervalued.
Dalvin Cook can still be a top running back in the league, right? Y'all agree with that?
Probably still could be. Yeah.
Okay, they paid the tight end before they paid him. They haven't even paid JJ yet. Like they paid the tight end $17 million a year. You know what you could have did with that? And like you got guys like, let's say like Danielle Hunter on that same team. They paid him his deal. He made 95% of the money already on that contract. Negotiated to have his last year of the deal be low. And what does he do? He's like, I'm not showing up until you guys give me more money. They already paid you the deal that you negotiated. So they had to pay him $20 million for 1 year. And now they can't pay anybody else. So, Ken, I agree with you. It's the teammates. They being greedy. But to fix it, Don, I'm gonna piggyback off of this. Cause I feel like we've maybe talked about this in some capacity before. But I'm going to take it a step further with the CBA. I think the running backs, if I'm a running back, I'm going to my rep and saying, look, we got to find a way to negotiate the length of rookie contracts for running backs. Because that's the biggest detriment to running backs is they come into the league and you're on that rookie deal for 4 to 5 years. Like that's longer than the average career span of an NFL player. The only way you're making money as a running back is you're a first round pick and you got that first round money, or you just happen to make it to the end and someone signs you to a deal. The latter is becoming less and less likely to happen for running backs because if you're in the league for 4 to 5 years, they're going to look at stuff like, oh, how many carries does he have? Like this and that. How many games has he played? And then we'll just franchise him that last year and see if it works out. You got to find a way to get these rookie deals to be shorter that are not first round contracts.
But again, JT, I think you got to go through the CBA. Kendall would know better than us, but first round, like you're guaranteed 4 with a team option for 5, second round, third round, 4 years minimum. Like that's what I'm saying. When you break out after the second year, that's where you come to them and say, hey, you know, the Colts last year when they got Matt Ryan, they thought along with me, hey, we're going to the Super Bowl. All right, if I'm Jonathan Taylor, I don't want to bring up old news, but if I'm Jonathan Taylor, last year is when I would have sat down and said, hold on a second. Hold on. You just brought in Matt Ryan to win a Super Bowl. What about paying your guy that you believe in? If not, I'm not showing up to training camp.
But what if it was this? Jonathan Taylor went in the second round of the draft. What if you assign contract lengths for running backs depending on what round they get drafted? Like if he was, let's say if you're a round 2 pick, 3 years max, you can keep me on this rookie deal. And then it goes down as the rounds get lower.
But I understand that. That's great. But JT, you got to wait till like 2030 when the CBA is up.
Hey, look. I'm thinking for the future. It's nothing we can do. It's nothing we can do for
That's a
JT
long
now.
time.
That's a long time.
For a running back, that's a very long time.
If you're Jonathan Taylor, you're not worried about the 2030 CBA. You're trying to get the bag now.
All right, so you've been hinting at this, so let's just talk about him, Jonathan Taylor. Like, he's the man of the hour. Like, everyone thought that he was going to be traded by this self-imposed deadline they gave him until 4 p.m. on Tuesday. We all thought that, it was going to get done as he's going to get traded to maybe the Dolphins. We heard the Packers kind of came in at the last minute. But in Jim Irsay fashion, they didn't do the trade, and they placed him on the PUP list, which puts him out for the first 4 weeks of the year. So, Jonathan Taylor. And you know what? I'm going to go to Dom first because I know he's so passionate about this guy. He's out for the first 4 games on the PUP, which means even if he gets traded, he can't play. What should we expect from Jonathan Taylor this season?
Well, I personally think he plays because he wants to increase his trade value for 2 reasons. One, so the Colts then are willing to deal him because they get what they feel is fair market value in return, right? If he balls out, now teams may, like your Dolphins, give up a first-round pick, or maybe they throw in Jalen Waddle. I don't know. I'm just saying. So I think he plays to increase that because think about it. What does him sitting out do? He becomes a year older.
He's some healthy. He's some fresh.
He's playing running back.
You can't
That's
say
the most physical position.
But you can't say fresh because he's coming off an injury.
No.
We need to
Let me ask you a question. Let me ask you a question, non-football related.
Oh, man.
If I got Mike Tyson to punch you in the face 1 day a week, 17 weeks, or I let you sit at home, which one is going to have you more rested?
But JT, the question should be if the 50th punch or the first punch, which one knocks me out more likely? It doesn't matter.
Get knocked out every punch. You got to come back.
Exactly. So him sitting out to be fresh that's irrelevant when you're coming off of injury. You need to get the rust out, and you need to show you're worth the value.
Pay me for my rust removal. That's a service.
Knock the rust out of a new team.
Pay me for my rust removal. That's a service.
I agree with that. But
Deshaun did that.
Kendall, if you're a GM, if you're a GM,
Kendall, can you fight him back on this? Tell this man what to expect from JT, because I feel like he just I don't want to hear him no more.
I think he's gonna sit out. Personally,
where's that gonna get him? Where's that gonna get him?
He's gonna be well rested. He came back from the injury. He's like a hot ticket right now. He's the top of the town.
Does he play for the Colts again after he sits out?
No, I think he's going to go somewhere else.
But Kendall, you think Jim Irsay, you know the NFL better. Jim Irsay seems pretty vindictive. You think that guy's going to let JT sit out and then trade him to a place where they'll pay him? No, he'll say, you know what? You can be a Colt forever. We don't got to pay you, and neither are you going to get paid because we want Jalen Waddle in a first-round pick. And Miami will never give that to them if he does not ball out and show up. I'm just saying, we're dealing with Jim Irsay.
Hey, I don't know. We've seen crazier things happen. So, hey.
All right.
Best of luck to Mr. Taylor. But
Don thinks he's going to play. Kendall says no way. He about to pull a tank job and sit out. I will say this, Don. I agree with you. I think he's going to play, but I don't think it'll be for the Colts. I think they're going to find a trade partner for him because, to be honest with you, this is as high as his value.
The only way I say he does play is with another team. I should say that. Yeah. Not playing as a Colt. I'll just say that straight out.
So you think he's done with the Colts?
Yeah, I think he's done with the Colts.
See, that's why we bring him on. The man know what he's talking about. He's a genius. The man know about football. But I agree.
That is why he's our expert.
I think he gets traded because you got to think if you're the Colts and Jim Irsay, his value is never going to be as guaranteed to be as high as it is right now because he plays a game for you, comes out, gets hurt again. You kiss all that trade value goodbye. So I think him not coming off the PUP list clearly shows that the Colts want to trade him, but they want to get the right value without damaging their asset. And for Jonathan Taylor, I understand why he doesn't want to be there now because he sees the writing on the wall. First of all, you got to think Jonathan Taylor until last year had never missed a game. Like not in high school, not in college. So this is like his first major injury, which is crazy to think about a guy playing running back that long and he's never been hurt until now. And then I think he is not trusting the Colts a little bit because he got hurt. They brought him back too soon. They said he was fine. And then he got out there and got hurt again. So If I've never been punched before and you tell me like, hey, go back out there, Mike Tyson, that his lucky shot, he ain't gonna hit you that hard again. And then I get hit hard again, I'm not gonna trust you. So I think that's why he wants to leave the Colts. And he also sees the writing on the wall. He's gonna come in there and be the punching bag for a rookie quarterback's development. And when the time Anthony Richardson is ready to play, he's gonna be too worn down to even matter on the open market. So if he sees the writing on the wall, exactly. Get me out of here. So I do think he'll get traded. I think it's either going to be the Dolphins or the Packers, and I think they'll get a deal done. I'm speaking this into existence for fantasy, obviously, but I think they'll get a deal done by then.
Man, you guys, so optimistic about that. You forget we're dealing with Jim Irsay. Don't forget that.
I know Jim Irsay would rather spend money on a killer whale than it's all pro running back. I get it.